When we talk about ancient heating methods, most people picture roaring fireplaces or iron stoves. But centuries before insulation foam, fiberglass or modern central heating, there existed a method so effective at retaining warmth that even in the dead of winter, homes stayed surprisingly cosy without constant fuel. This was the clay wall method, a simple, ingenious building practice that used nothing but earth, straw and, well, patience to create natural insulation. During wartime shortages and in rural Europe's toughest winters, this method became a silent hero of survival, keeping families warm when coal, gas and electricity were luxuries few could afford. For the first minute, think of this. During the brutal winters of the 1940s, when glass was shattered from bomb blasts and roofs leaked cold air, some houses still held their warmth long after fires went out. Those homes had clay walls. Builders and soldiers who took shelter in them noticed a difference: less condensation, fewer drafts, and a stable temperature day and night. The secret wasn't wealth or technology, it was technique. Now let's dig into the forgotten clay wall method and see why it worked so well, how it was made, and why it deserves a comeback for anyone who values sustainability, resilience, and the old-world genius of working with nature instead of against it. Long before the tumult of World War II, clay-based construction was quite common across Europe, Africa and Asia. It went by many names: wattle and daub, cob, or even earth plaster. But the principle, well, it was always the same. Builders would combine locally available clay with straw, sand, and sometimes even animal hair or lime to create walls that could both breathe and hold heat. Now, when war came and those modern materials ran out, rural builders and even some military engineers found themselves turning back to this ancient technique. Over in Eastern Europe, families rebuilt bombed houses using earth taken from nearby fields. The walls, they were thick, sometimes a foot or more, and once dried, they formed a dense shell that absorbed warmth during the day and slowly released it at night. In colder regions like Poland, these clay walls were sometimes paired with brick or stone exteriors, creating a double-layered structure that trapped heat like a thermos. You know, these homes stood warmer than many newer ones built from concrete alone. It's quite fascinating, really, how those modern structures often lost heat quickly through thin walls and cracks. Clay has this unique property called thermal mass, which means it can absorb and store heat energy. When the sun or a fireplace warms the inside of a clay wall, that warmth doesn't just disappear. Oh no. Instead, the clay holds onto it, gradually releasing it over time. Quite remarkable, isn't it? It's the same reason why earthen ovens stay hot long after the fire dies down. Concrete, though strong, lacks that gentle heat retention quality. It's interesting how materials can differ so much, don't you think? In World War II-era Europe, this made clay walls absolutely invaluable. When fuel was rationed, or sometimes just plain unavailable, folks really needed their homes to hold on to every bit of warmth they could muster. Clay did just that. But, you know, it also regulated humidity. Moisture could pass right through without any condensation forming, which kept interiors nice and dry, even in those famously damp climates. The method was both art and science, and more often than not it was passed down by word of mouth. Builders would start by sourcing clean, natural clay from riverbanks or pits, then mix it with sand to help prevent cracking. Straw or hay got tossed in for strength, creating this fibrous web that really held the whole mixture together. Water was poured in until the texture felt a bit like thick dough, sticky but not dripping, you know. For anyone interested in sustainable living or off-grid homesteading, the clay wall method is far from obsolete. It's a proven system for temperature control that costs almost nothing if you've got access to natural soil. You can still use this approach for things like garden sheds, small cabins, or even outdoor kitchens. It's simple, really, but it works. One modern homesteader in the Czech countryside rebuilt his root cellar walls using this same method and, well, found that the temperature inside stayed constant year-round, reducing energy needs entirely. The same principle applies to greenhouses or outdoor ovens. The clay absorbs solar warmth and slowly radiates it back, maintaining a balanced climate. In a world racing toward high-tech solutions, there's a quiet wisdom in rediscovering what our ancestors already mastered. The clay wall method reminds us that energy efficiency doesn't require machines or modern insulation. It only requires understanding the materials beneath our feet. During times of scarcity or crisis, such knowledge becomes priceless. The soldiers, farmers and families who used it weren't experimenting. They were surviving. The forgotten clay wall method stands as proof that survival and comfort don't depend on modernity. They depend on knowledge. This was the same wisdom that kept wartime families warm through freezing nights when all else failed. If you've ever wanted to reconnect with practical history, this is one of the most rewarding skills to try. Here at Echoes of Valor, we uncover these lost techniques not just to remember them, but to revive them. So, if this story of clay, craftsmanship and survival resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and share this video. Help keep the echoes of our ancestors' ingenuity alive, because the lessons that once saved them might one day save us too.